Good morning, students. So today we're going to start learning how to use a tool called GeoGebra. Um, so this is going to be used to teach you what are called geometric constructions. Constructions in geometry are really an old, very traditional process of learning to use limited tools to construct objects in geometry. The rules in geometric constructions are you can only use a straight edge, something to draw a straight line or segment, and a compass, meaning the type of compass you use to create a circle. We're not allowed to use a measuring tool like a ruler. We're not allowed to use a a protractor to measure angles. We only have a straight edge and a compass. And as we learn these constructions, we're going to use these tools to help us in our analysis of the triangle congruence theorems. Okay, so I want you to start by going to geogebra.org. When you get there, there should be a sign-in link, and I'd like you to create an account, sign in with Google account so you can save your constructions. All right, you could pause the video and do that here. Okay, so click on Start Calculator. GeoGebra does a lot of things, kind of like Desmos. You can graph functions and things like that, but it also does a lot more, and we're not going to use that part of GeoGebra. We're going to use the geometry construction part of GeoGebra, which Desmos does not have. And I'm going to start by getting rid of the graph grid. So go to the settings wheel. I don't want the axes, and I want no grid. I just want a blank drawing space. And next, I don't want the algebra tools. I want the geometry tools. So it's the middle tool palette. All right, so the first construction I'm going to teach you is the simplest one, copy a line segment. So we tried to do this the other day with patty paper, and this is just a better way to do it. So we're going to create a line segment, a random line segment, and then we're going to show how to use a straight edge and a compass to construct a copy of that segment that's no matter what guaranteed to be congruent. So scroll down to the segment tool, and we're going to construct our random starting segment. So I have segment AB, and the endpoints of A and B are blue, which mean they're free. I can move them around. I went to my move tool to move it around. I'm going to change this label. I'm going to click on the object. AB is an object in GeoGebra. And then I'm going to go to the settings of the object, and I want to change it. I don't want to show a label. I'm going to show a caption, and then I'm going to call this the original segment. And I'd like you to change that, and it popped, and I want to show the caption now. All right. So now I'm going to move that label over a little bit here. So there's my original segment, and I can move it. It's a free object. I can switch it around. And now we're going to use a straight edge and a compass, a circle drawing compass, to construct an exact copy that is absolutely guaranteed to be congruent to AB, no matter what. And that's the logic behind the geometric constructions that makes this interesting. Okay, so we're going to start our construction of our congruent segment. So I want you to scroll down. We're going to start with a ray, has an endpoint and extends infinitely in another direction. So now CD is not the same thing as AB, but we're going to create a copy of AB up here on this ray. And A is going to correspond to C, and I have to find the point that corresponds to B so that that segment's congruent to AB. All right, well, I have to use the compass tool. So it's down at the bottom, click on the compass tool. And in the compass, you have to tell it where the center is. So I'm going to click on A is the center, B is the radius. So now this circle has a radius of AB. And my pointer is at the center. So I'm going to take that circle up, and I'm going to click at C and say I want the center of that to be at C. All right. So now C to this point of intersection is the same distance as AB. I'm going to go up to my move tool, and if I move this, notice that circle moves because that radius from C to there is tied to AB. But I need to construct this point. All right, because there's no point there right now. GeoGebra doesn't recognize that as a point. So I need to go to this tool, which is to construct a point of intersection. and I need to hover right over it and click. And now E corresponds to B. So AB will be congruent to CE. I'll go back to my move tool and notice AB and CE are guaranteed to be congruent because the radius AB is the same thing as the radius CE. The compass is our measuring tool effectively. Notice that E is gray. It's not a movable point. It's not independent. It's fixed. It's tied to the AB. I could move C, and then E stays the same distance from C, or I could move this. So those are tied together. AB is guaranteed to be congruent to CE. All right, but now the segment CE, this is a weird thing about GeoGebra. CE, that's just a point on the ray. I need to construct the segment CE. So I'm going to scroll down to the segment tool, and I'm going to construct the segment CE. Now that segment's constructed on top of the ray. All right, so I'm going to go back up to my move tool, still tied together. Now I want to finalize this by hiding the ray. I want to hide this point. I want to hide the circle. I want to change this label. So I'm going to go to the move tool. First, I'm going to select the ray, go to settings, and I want to turn off the label, and I don't want to show the object. So now the ray is hidden. It's still there, it's just hidden. Now I'm going to select this point. I don't want to show it either. Settings, I want to not show the label, and I want to not show the object. Now the point is still there, but it's hidden. Same thing with the circle. I don't want to see the circle. Settings. I don't want to show the object, and I don't want to show the label for the object. And then lastly, on the segment, I want to change this H and say the copy. Settings. The caption's going to be copied segment. And I want to show the caption. Okay, and then I can move this over a little bit. All right, so here's my construction. AB is guaranteed to be CE. So we'll use this construction as we're analyzing the triangle congruence theorems, and we'll be able to use this to help visualize why those triangle congruence theorems work, why those specific sets of information guarantee that two figures will be congruent. All right, so now it's your turn. I want you to refresh the page to erase your construction, and I want to see if you can replicate it, redo it again independently. You may have to watch pieces of the video to remind yourself, but I'd like you to get to the point where you know this construction and you could do it independently. So, all right, so I'm going to refresh. It's going to unfortunately put me back to where the grid and everything's showing, so I'm going to go over to the settings wheel. I don't want to see the axes, and I want no grid, and I want to go to the tools palette. All right, see if you can replicate that construction. Good luck.